Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy, Trevor, and your other boy.
Sam. Ho,
And
ho,
we are
ho.
here, ho, ho, ho. We're here with the next episode, the first playoff version of the PRFFFLMP playoff edition. And we are going to delve into what went down and what's going to happen next. So without any further ado, let's just get started.
Yeah, no more ado.
No
This
more
is
do.
good.
So this is what
What an
happened.
what an exciting week,
It truly
for the
was. Now, did people play in the losers bracket? Was that even a thing? I guess they just didn't have matches, did they?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when that happens, honestly. It might be this week.
It
Uh, no, so it looks like the consolation bracket is just the losers of last week.
yeah. So people
I
that didn't
guess
make the
I
playoffs, their seasons just ended. That's fine.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
sweet.
They're not
Gives
really
us
worth talking about anyway. So wait,
exactly.
so if there was gonna be a punishment, who does that mean that there's a punishment for? Is that
It would be
Miami?
Jacob, the stoppable
Oh
force.
boy, that we got to come up with punishment. Put your
Agreed.
best. I know. We had Zach last week give his idea. It was to
Yeah,
send Trevor's jockstrap to someone and they have to use it in their film.
correct. Yeah.
I want every listener to
Yes.
put their punishment idea in the comments
Yes. Agreed. All right.
or in the chat too.
Yeah.
I guess that works in the
Or both,
Discord.
preferably
Yes,
both.
both.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need we
for the
need the
algorithm.
algorithm help. Okay. Well, let's get started here. I mean, where to begin? Let's start with me because I took a
Okay.
thrash.
You took an L from the Dub squad.
Yeah. Um, some real interesting things to go over. Real briefly, right? We can talk about Senior Jameis
Mm.
Winston. 146 passing yards, 3 interceptions, 2 rushing yards, -2 rushing yards. And he got yanked from that game because he threw 3 picks. Really, really going to be tough to win games when your quarterback puts up less than 3 points.
Yeah, it sure is. It
Yeah.
sure that was a very risky move by you. Jameis Winston, total. I mean, we've talked about some boomer bust players this year. Jameis Winston is like, is there anything beyond boom and boomer bust? Because whatever it is, that's him.
That's him. He is the ultimate boomer bust. But so yeah, that's where he's been. Didn't work out well for me, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
and he got benched. He got
Yeah.
benched this week, so maybe I don't know. I mean, who would you have started if you'd won? Now that Winston got
CJ
benched.
Stroud, but
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, my issue was simply that I knew I was going to need a boom to win this game, and that was just going to come down to I think Jameis Winston's capable of putting up more points than I think CJ Stroud is. So that's where
Yeah.
we're at. Didn't work out for me this week. Had a couple other people stinking it up. I guess right. I think there is a winning roster, right? If I start Kansas City defense, if I start Chase McLaughlin, um,
Yeah, because
if
that's 4 more points. That's nine. So 14 plus nine. So that's 23 more points right there.
just there. If I start CJ Stroud, that's another almost 10 points. And then if
Yeah.
I do Rashad White over, I think over Tyrone, right? That's another 9 points. Like there's
So that's
definitely a
40. That's
universe.
43 points right there.
Yeah.
Would that have gotten you?
It would have actually, yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 Now, granted, you can't play that game too far because then, it can be, oh, well, he could have started, Jonnu Smith, and instead of Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? Like
It,
it's tough to get into
it,
that game.
yeah. If and buts, you can't do it.
Exactly. But
But
alas,
there
I
was
took
the
an L.
world.
Good luck to Matt. He's moving on to the next round. I am
But
sending home this week.
yeah. What are some big performances on Matt's team this week? Let's scroll
Yeah,
back
I
up.
mean, Mike Evans putting up 32 was kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Welcome
That's
back,
really the
Mike
big one.
Evans. He
Uh,
he's on a mission to get his
his
eighth
thousand,
straight 1,000 yard season.
something like that. It's
It's
kind of
possible.
crazy.
It's possible. I mean, he's missed some games this year, but that big performance last week really got him close.
Yeah, it
Um,
certainly did.
so he's within striking distance.
Yeah. And then
Trey
also,
McBride,
yeah,
sorry, Trey McBride. Fun fact: he hasn't even scored a touchdown this year. I don't think.
yeah, I think we
Maybe,
talked about that. Yeah, no
maybe. No,
touchdowns.
hold on. He got a rushing touchdown. It looks like in week 9.
That's
I
kind of
think. Yeah, but no receiving touchdowns. This is pretty funny.
well, and I mean, in the last
He's
four
been a great.
weeks,
Yeah,
he's probably the best tight end, I would imagine, over the last 4 weeks straight.
he's been up there. Yeah,
Um,
some might even say, "Here comes the McBride."
that's what some might say,
Yeah.
certainly. So good week from Trey McBride. Puka had a good week. I mean, it was a
Mhm.
decent week, right? But even despite the poor conditions there,
Yeah. Matt's team's tough right now. I think they've won. I want to say they won 5 straight.
he's won a lot of games in a row here. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, next up, you want to get to the Steagles that were?
Yeah, let's look at the Steagles. The Steagles
Steagles
that
taking
are.
out the
Yeah.
prostates. All right.
Mm, those poor
Everyone's
Frosties.
favorite mini game. We're back at it. Did
Oh,
Cody pick
this is
the
super fun.
Did Cody pick the right quarterback? And the answer is yes, he did.
Yeah, you did.
He did. He certainly did. Now, did
Let's
he
play.
pick?
Let's play another. Yeah, let's play another mini game. Did Cody start the right wide receivers?
The answer is no. A
Oh,
resounding no.
okay.
When you see 38 points here sitting here with Devontae Adams.
Oh boy.
Also, did he start the right defense?
Oh boy.
Another tough no there.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Cody. My guy, Cody.
Cody. At least he put Mark Andrews in finally.
That's true.
Not
You
that
want to
that
know
made a difference. It actually was
what
less than Pat Fryermuth, which is funny.
you want to know a fun fact about the Devonte Adams stats?
I do.
Um, or Devonte Statums as they might call him.
Yes.
So 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you want to know how many of those were in the first half of his
I
game?
I would.
0.
Huh.
Do you want to know how many of his 198 yards and 2 touchdowns were in the second half of that game?
I would also like to know that.
All of it.
That is an interesting one half of play.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, really rough way to go out for Cody. But you know what? Just like you hear a lot of coaches in the NFL say you never apologize for a win. You
That's
can't
right.
apologize for wins in fantasy either.
That's right.
There is a lot. There is a lot of good coaching that goes into fantasy football.
Yeah.
These start sit decisions. It's you gotta make them. Cody just made the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, Cody. I do think it's funny. Last week with Zach, we talked about Brees Hall
Yeah.
and trying to convince Cody not to start him. He did start him.
He
How
did.
many points did he get? 12.
12, yeah. Definitely more than
So
Tank Bigsby.
I like to think that Cody was distracted by ooh, like I got to put Brees Hall in, haha, Sam, and then he just forgot about Devonte Adams.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. But that's a tough pill to swallow for Cody.
Yeah.
Definitely
Huge
a
weeks for
winnable
my
game.
yeah. I mean, if he puts Adams in, he beats me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Not super. I mean, it still would have been kind of close.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been over Juwan Jennings, so it's another 34 points. Okay. Yeah, and he would have beat you by
Yeah.
10.
Yeah. So, but you know what? That didn't happen.
It didn't
Um,
happen.
Really good week from my running backs there. Jameer Gibbs had 2 big
He
touchdowns.
did. Yeah.
Chase Brown also had a really good game. AJ Brown, he's got a really good relationship with his quarterback.
You could
Um,
say that again.
yeah, they've got okay. He's got a really good relationship with his quarterback. 21 points. I think him and Jalen Hurts are like best friends now.
I probably
So
so.
I would like to see a lot of that going forward. Um, Not great from Burrow. What he had like 3 turnovers.
Yeah, he threw a couple picks. Yeah, interceptions. But
Cody's running backs also did pretty good too. I mean, Josh Jacobs really finished the season strong for Cody.
yeah, and James Cook
Did as
has
much as
had
he
a
could.
pretty good stretch as well here.
Oh, for
Ignoring
sure.
last
Yeah.
week.
James Cook had a big week.
Yeah.
He's one of the best running backs in the game. Um, yeah, really, really saddening there for Cody. Just had the win and just didn't even take it.
Yeah. James has been cooking, that's for sure.
Uh,
Um,
my team also gets a little bit of a boost, unfortunately, with David Montgomery going out.
That's what I was
Jahmyr
gonna put in
Gibbs,
that as well.
yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna be getting some touches, some more
Yeah.
touches.
Yeah. Probably because they're probably gonna work Craig Reynolds in a little bit, but it's mainly gonna be Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So sorry, Cody. Still get your prostate checked, but maybe get
Mhm.
your butt checked too, because I just kicked it.
Yeah. Make sure it's nice and lathered.
Oh yeah,
All
I'll
right.
help you. Actually, no, I won't. That's kind of gross.
Probably don't want to help him with that.
No,
Next up, let's get the eggs and the furries. Now this is quite the matchup here.
yeah, I've got a question for you here, Trevor.
Yeah.
You have you ever seen a furry beat Goff?
I've never seen a furry beat Goff.
That's
No furries
good.
beat Goff, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've never seen a furry beat Goff either.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I really wanted to ever see a furry beat Goff.
No, never.
Um, and we didn't this week, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Andrew just got housed, right? I mean, realistically, you look at Aaron's team, and once you get beyond Justin Jefferson, nobody did anything spectacular.
Yeah,
A lot of 5 to 8 points, but Jared Goff putting up 41 is definitely gonna win you a lot of games.
yeah. Well, between him and Jefferson was that 57 points, almost
Yes.
58. I
Yes.
mean, that alone. I mean,
Yep.
that's a recipe for winning. When your quarterback can put up 40, you're going to be hard to beat.
Uh-huh. And then the goose egg from Cooper.
That's
Uh,
tough.
Patrick Mahomes, didn't really do anything spectacular.
He had that
Uh,
gruesome ankle injury. I mean,
yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
surprised
that's right.
if he plays ever again.
Yeah. Probably wise move to not start the Detroit defense against, especially because
Mm,
every single player on the Detroit defense is injured.
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have hurt him. I mean, he still would have lost by 30, but
I will say, interesting not starting Zach Charbonnet over Nick
yeah,
Chubb.
Chubb. Yeah, I mean, Chubb. That's an interesting from Andrew. I mean, Chubb didn't really do much this year after coming back from injury.
Yeah,
Um, So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's tough. I mean, Chubb's overcome a couple ACL injuries the last couple of years.
yeah,
Um, so going forward, I don't know if I would be able to rely on Nick Chubb too much.
yeah. It's a tough call there.
What
Um,
about Saquon Barkley? Is this his worst week of the season?
it very well may have been. It looks to be his third
Was
worst.
yeah,
He had a 6 pointer, an 8 pointer, and then this one's an 8 pointer as well.
yeah,
Tough week, but at least his team took the dub, right? He did get a little
yeah.
injured. I think he sat out the whole second quarter.
Did he? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. According to Nick Sirianni, he
Mhm.
was totally fine. There was nothing wrong. But it's kind of interesting saying that when he didn't play for the whole second quarter and he's kind of their best player. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, with the Steelers do have a good defense, particularly their run defense is pretty good. So maybe it was game script thing.
tough to
Maybe they
say.
were maybe after everything that happened with the quarterback and the receivers, maybe they were just trying to push the pass game a little bit more.
Maybe
Who
so.
knows?
Maybe so.
But but not the ideal time for Andrews Boyd to let him down.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. Um, yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. Aaron definitely picked the right quarterback to start.
Aaron said in the chat, if you missed it, he said he flipped a coin to determine which quarterback to start. So Aaron, you got to keep that coin.
That coin certainly saved him. There's
Yeah,
no doubt about that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Keep that coin, Aaron. Hang it in the Louvre.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, Aaron's bench didn't even do anything. I mean, he
Mm-mm.
really was saved by the coin
Yeah.
flip. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss, Andrew? Gosh, poor
Good
Andrew.
luck.
Andrew started the season really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Barkley is in serious contention for the MVP in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we may or may not do an award show for the podcast. Um, I just say may or may not because we haven't talked about it, but maybe we will. Who knows?
Who's to
But
say?
who's to say? Yeah, but disappointing season for Andrew. I think his team was definitely better than the results showed.
I think he had high hopes coming into this one and really got let down.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's tough. Well, let's look at the most interesting match of the week. Would you agree?
I'd say so. Yeah, you
And
get a
we're
big up. Well, is it really? It's not really an upset. I mean, seed wise, it's an upset, 8-1. But Paul was favored going into this game,
it's
going on
we're gonna
top.
go back to what we just talked about. It's tough to lose when your quarterback puts up 40 plus points.
Gosh, Josh Allen has been on a tear lately.
I think this is his yeah, so his last 4 weeks, I don't know what his average is, but it's got to be like 35 points, 32 points a game, something like that.
Let's see, 92, 130, 154 divided by 4. I don't know
Yeah.
what that is. Yeah, it's about somewhere 35 points.
I'll average it up. I'll do the math. We
There
got
you go.
25 plus 28 plus 52 plus 41 divided by 4. Yeah, 36 points a game.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah,
That's a lot of points. Yeah, there's another guy that's in the MVP conversation, especially these last few weeks. What he's been doing,
mm-hmm.
what talking about, like ever since he got engaged, to that one girl
Yeah,
3 weeks ago, he's just been killing it.
been on a
Um,
tear.
he's definitely Josh Allen's definitely playing well enough to where he can carry a team to the championship.
Certainly.
Um, but when you look at the rest of Paul's team, like he doesn't really need that much help. I mean,
Mm-mm.
his wide receivers put up great production this week. Uh,
T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, again, between the two of them, putting up 30 points.
Malik Neighbors had a big game, which is impressive considering that quarterback situation.
Yeah, 20 points from the defense.
Yeah. Now, big loss for Paul with David Montgomery going out.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So we'll have to replace him, um, but
Fortunately, he's, could maybe just start Jerome Ford.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Gosh, still got Brian Thomas Jr. sitting there on his bench, which is pretty
yeah,
rough.
with 27 points. Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers putting up 30 points. When you've got
you-
a quarterback that put 30 points up on your bench and you chose the right quarterback, you're in a good spot.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is what we've been talking about with Paul's team all season long. It's dangerous. You don't want to run into him in the playoffs because
Nope.
he's got a lot of guys on his team that can just get real hot
Mm-hmm.
and just put up a ton of points.
Yeah.
Last week, last 2 weeks it's been Josh Allen. Couple weeks before that it was Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Uh, Kyron Williams has gone off several times, so
Yep.
you really do not want to run into Paul when he's got if two of those guys go off, just you have no shot.
Yep.
So real tough luck for Levi running into Paul there. What do we say about Levi's team?
I mean, he just ran into a buzzsaw, right? He put up 105 points. You probably win a lot of games with 105 points. Starting Ramadunze was maybe a bit of a reach, but I guess he didn't really have a whole lot else going on. It
Yeah,
kind of just looked like his running backs fell off in this latter half of the season, right? Jonathan Taylor had a costly goal line fumble. Um,
rough. That was tough.
yeah. I mean that would have flipped this. That's an 8 point swing just from that one play alone. And then Derrick Henry didn't really do much, but it's because they just threw for a billion touchdowns over the air and didn't need him.
Yeah, they didn't really
Uh,
need him. They sat for the end of the game. For most of the end of the game, the Ravens did.
yeah.
But
So,
the Hurts and Devontae Smith stack, that was a good stack to have all season.
yep.
Uh, yeah, the running backs for Levi carried him, pun intended,
Yeah.
for most of the season, and then just they let him down. They fumbled at the goal line.
They certainly did. Tough break for Levi. I was really pulling for Levi to win it all, um, in his first year doing this
Yep.
thing, but it does at least he had fun, I think. I think he had fun.
I think he did. I'd like to see what Levi, what he's learned from this year. I'd like
Yeah.
to see him bring that into next season because it's
Yeah.
one thing we know about Levi. He likes to do it.
That's right.
Um, he did it a lot for Day Armas this
He
year.
certainly did it for Darmus. There's no doubt about that. He left no
I think
doubt.
she'd be proud.
She would.
I think we should contact Anna De Armas and let her
Mhm.
know
Well, unfortunately,
just
I
how
told
proud
him
we are there.
I would only tweet at Ana de Armas if he won, unfortunately.
Oh well,
Yeah.
that's
So
fine.
I can't do that if I lost. So
Yeah, we I guess that's true. We don't want to let her down.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
So
for Levi.
nothing to
Sorry,
do.
buddy. He had a good
Well,
run.
let's take a quick look then here at what's up next.
So the playoffs reseeded. So instead of it doing bracket style, it
Mhm.
reseeds. So the highest seed, going into this next week gets the lowest seed remaining, and
Mhm.
then matches up from there. So on a normal bracket, I would have had to play Matt, the 3 seed this week, um, and then Paul would have had to play Aaron. But with
Interesting.
the seeding, so I'm the highest seed remaining now, so I'm playing Paul.
Yeah.
Um, and then Aaron's playing Matt. So there really wasn't, from my perspective, you can't really win either way because you're either going up against Paul or you're going up against the hottest team in the league right now.
Yeah.
Uh, so whatever for that, but that's how the playoffs are working for the rest of the. Well, I guess for this week because next week it'll just be 2 teams left.
Yeah.
Um, but you got the Steagles that currently are versus the Numballers,
Mhm.
and then you got the Eggs and the Dub Squad. So definitely, when you're looking just specifically at party room filmmakers, what a lineup we have.
Certainly.
You've got 3 Golden Dewey winners, and then you've got
Yeah.
Paul, who's always in the running there.
Yeah.
Um, you couldn't really ask for much more,
No, no, you couldn't. You really
unless
couldn't.
you're you. Then you could have asked for you to be there. But
Right, right. I mean, if it's me, I would have asked to have won my game, but that wasn't,
yeah,
nobody asked me for that. So,
um, you want to look at the we want to look at the
yeah, let's
matchups.
take a look at these matchups so we can tell people who to start.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
don't. Well, no, Paul, leave David Montgomery in your lineup for sure. You've been Paul. If you want to preach that loyalty, you've been talking about all season long. You got to leave David Montgomery in there.
yeah, Paul. So
Just
it
saying. Just
looks like you're
saying.
gonna have to bench David Montgomery, um, and probably just starting Jerome Ford. That's a pretty one-for-one swap there. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good matchup for Ford too. Going up against the Bengals,
yeah,
whose run defense is just abysmal.
I'd probably, I mean, in terms of his wide receivers, I don't think he needs to touch anything. He could technically start Brian Thomas over Malik Neighbors, maybe, but I don't know. That Atlanta defense is not very good. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I talk about Brian Thomas being on the bench, but look at the 3 guys he's behind. I mean, who
yeah,
do you sit?
exactly.
Yeah,
When and they're in the same situation. Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, they're both good receivers with bad quarterbacks on bad
yeah.
teams. So it's kind of a toss up as to who's gonna win. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I'm not so sure about the Dallas defense against Tampa Bay's offense
I'd
this week.
probably switch to Denver there, or even potentially pick
Really.
someone up off waivers.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Dallas might get lit up.
Yeah.
Um, the rest of that for Paul, I mean, can't really argue with the rest of it. Just swap
Mhm.
out his running back and he's fine.
Yep.
For me, I mean, what you see is probably what you're going to get. I swapped out San Francisco for New York a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Uh, Darnell Mooney, I was considering maybe starting him, but
Hmm.
now they got Michael Penix coming in with that big Penix energy.
That big Penix energy. That's what they call
Yeah.
it.
So I don't know if you don't really know what you're going to get with that, and that's too risky to do in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
So yeah,
I think you're pretty much locked in there. Now, when Paul gets his wide receiver or his running back put in, that's another, what is it? 11 points into the projection. So all of a sudden it looks like we're relatively even between the two.
yeah,
Yeah. So it could be a good game for sure.
it's gonna be a close matchup for sure.
Yeah.
And all season, I've been my big three been Burrow, Brown, and Gibbs.
Mhm.
Specifically Chase Brown. not
Mhm.
AJ Brown, but
Gibbs projected at 20 points against Chicago.
yeah. So I think Gibbs will put up a good game.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what Burrow and Chase Brown can do against Cleveland because they've got a good defense.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't think they did much against Cleveland last time.
Yeah, certainly.
So it could come down to just those. I mean, you could say that. You could probably say that about anybody, but although it's interesting because if Burrow doesn't have a great game, then Jamar Chase and T Higgins might not either.
Right, it's true.
It could be an interesting battle between me and the numballers here.
It certainly is shaping up to be. Now, the next important one here is we got the Dub Squad and the Eggs. I mean, I think the Dub Squad is pretty much a set it and forget it at this point, right? I mean, he could start Jordan Love over Jaden Daniels, but I don't think you do. He could start JMO, but I don't think he
Who we got?
does.
We got Jordan Love playing New Orleans. Who's Washington playing against?
Philly.
Ooh,
The thing is, I mean, just look at the
no. He
productivity though
gets
from
he
Jaden
gets the yeah
Daniels.
he gets the rushing yards too.
Yes, and he gets rushing touchdowns. I mean, it's tough. Maybe I'm wrong, but Jordan Love hasn't really put up any monster games.
No, he's just been a solid, decent
Yeah,
quarterback.
I think you
What
stick
did
with
what
Jaden
did
Daniels.
what did James Daniels do last time they played Philly?
Um, when was that?
Week 10 or week 11?
14,
Okay.
14 points. So not anything, to write home about, but I don't know. I would probably have faith in Jaden Daniels here. Um,
Yeah. And then you got Tyreek, Mike Evans, Puka. So you're not going to start Jameson Williams over those guys.
right, right. And then you
Yeah.
got Aaron's team with Zay Flowers, Najee Harris, Pacheco, Brock Bowers, Downs, Chris Boswell, Jetta, and Goff. I think that's pretty much it. Unless he wants to flip that coin again for Anthony Richardson. Maybe it knows something we don't.
Yeah. I do maybe wonder if Tony Pollard might be a better start over Josh Downs.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what I was gonna say, kind of in this flex
I know,
spot.
yeah. I know that's your boy with the Colts, and I respect the game if you go with it. So I don't know. That might be like the one move that I might consider for him, but everything else um, looks fine.
Yeah.
Pacheco might have a good week, especially if Mahomes is, seriously hurt with his ankle, which we all know he's not.
Right, right. But there's also a universe where he doesn't start this week
Yeah,
because they play a short week. They play, I think, Thursday. Um, they don't need a win to continue. Like, I think the
they just
Bills
need to
are,
win one more game, and they're
yeah,
the number one seed, I believe.
yeah. So they need to win one out of the next three games. So they could
Mhm.
theoretically rest him this week and then play next week. And even if they needed to start him the last week, they would still clinch the number one seed and get a bye. So
Yeah, because I think they play